Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, Fading Footprints. And I'm here today in another graveyard in Dartford called the Watling Street Cemetery. I did want to start just by filming the chapel, which is kind of in the front middle of the graveyard itself, just purely guys, it's such a beautiful chapel. And it was erected in 1913. I'm going to walk over to the notice board just so I can read you some information about the graveyard before I get started. But I just want to get that building in because it's beautiful. I will walk around it properly. Look at that, guys. I mean, it's another beautiful day, but I'm sure that would look stunning in any weather. So, guys, I'm just going to read this out. I'll put the camera just over here. Watling Street Cemetery was originally acquired in 1900 by the Dartford Urban District Council for the purpose of a burial ground for its local residents. 3.5 acres of the 10-acre site were consecrated by the Bishop of Rochester in 1909, and the traditional Victorian chapel was erected in 1913. The cemetery was officially opened in 1914. The Watling Street Garden of Remembrance was opened by Councillor Jeremy Kite in October 2006, creating a much-needed facility for cremated remains and a place in which to remember loved ones. The grave space number may be found on some memorials, but in this cemetery there are many graves without identifications. Now I do just want to show you quickly the map of the graveyard cemetery, because it's all been separated into different numbered plot sections. I thought it was quite nice that they've all been named after different flowers there, guys, if you can see that. Just a little side note there. But this is by far the biggest cemetery I've been to so far, guys. And it's absolutely stunning. As in my previous videos, I like to come here and record history, pay my respects, and share it with you guys. So this is the chapel, as it said there, erected in 1913. And it's absolutely beautiful. I'll just walk around the other side here. And the sun's in my eyes as always, but if you can have a look at that, what a beautiful, beautiful chapel. And again, 112 years old, which is pretty amazing. So, if anybody's watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that I was quite interested in finding the grave of the very oldest grave in the graveyard. Now, I've been walking around here for about an hour and a half now. It's obviously quite a large graveyard, but trying to find the oldest grave in the graveyard, which would obviously be, I would think, 1914. Now, there is a site office here, guys, and after looking, as I said, for about an hour and a half, I did ask people who worked there if they'd give me any information on this graveyard and potentially if they knew where the oldest the oldest grave in this graveyard is. And I couldn't quite believe it, but she did indeed. And she very kindly took me to the grave and showed me. I did ask if it was respectful of me, if I'm allowed to walk on the grass as long as I didn't walk on any any gravestones, sorry, or graves. And she said, yes, you can. And she was, very kind. As I said, she has found and shown me the oldest grave in this graveyard. And it was in fact 1914. And she did actually mention that there are actually two people in the same grave. So it's two people. Two people were the first to be buried here. And if we look around here, guys, so now we're in the sort of front right as you look at the graveyard. And this gravestone here in my shot the one that's obviously been slightly slanted over the years, as you would expect. This is in fact the oldest grave in the graveyard. Now, there are no names on the grave, as a lot of graves in this graveyard aren't even, there's no stones even, so we're lucky that we can pay our respects to even a gravestone here. But check this out, guys. 7th of April 1914. Can you believe it? The oldest grave in Watling Street Cemetery. I'm just going to give you another view the other side, because it actually confirms what the lady told me. I'll show you this side here. If I just bend down here, you can see that. I'm not sure if you can see that in the sun. It says there, site of first interment. And as I said, the lady mentioned that there are actually 2 people buried here. I can't quite believe it, guys. For anybody that have watched my previous video on East Hill Cemetery, I actually spent a few videos trying to search for the oldest grave in that graveyard, and couldn't. But she actually said as well that she's got a map of East Hill Graveyard. They own that graveyard as well, and she knows where. The lady's called Elizabeth Barnes, who was the oldest person to be buried in that graveyard. She's going to give me a map of the plot number, of where the plot number is. So I'm hopefully when I finish here, she'll give me a map and I'll be able to go over there, and we'll finally find the resting place of Elizabeth Barnes, which I believe from memory was 1856. But to be able to come to this one and find the oldest graveyard in the cemetery, sorry, the oldest grave in the cemetery, is such a privilege, guys. So, I mean, for 111 years old, it's actually stood the test of time quite well. And again, the history in this place, guys, is almost overwhelming. Again, thank you guys for joining me. This is Fading Footprints. I will leave it there. Please like, comment and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I will, as always, see you on the next one. Thank you very much, guys. See ya.